Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. We watched their careers, I think, with a great deal of interest. Then a chasm existed between the two. They broke up, dissolved their friendship, and they went their separate ways. It was not too terribly long ago that something did occur outside the state of Georgia that have brought these two men back together. And then, on an earlier hour here of Georgia Championship Wrestling, something else occurred that has now made the return of Freebird and Fantasia an absolute fact. And I say that in deference to the fact that both Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy are joining me at this time. And, gentlemen, with your permission, I would like to go back to an earlier hour and relive the situation when Kevin Sullivan, who is still missing for some unexplained reason, did not appear.
I got an idea why he's missing. I got an idea. We all know why he might be missing, because of Buzz Sawyer, the big wada-headed boy.
Nonetheless, Buzz Sawyer and his partner were going to go up against Michael Hayes and Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan did not appear. They then very grandly offered Michael Hayes the opportunity to go out singly against the two of them.
Oh, wasn't that nice of him?
Yeah, really. That was something indeed.
I really appreciated that, but I had a little surprise for you, didn't I?
Yeah. That's right. You know, Gordon, I'd just like to say, you know, I'd like to honestly say this has to be the happiest day of my life, you know. This is something I've waited for a long time. I know I made a lot of mistakes, but after I received the thousands of letters and cards, I realized that I had made that mistake. But the birds are back and we're here.
And here's exactly what happened when Kevin Sullivan failed to appear and Michael Hayes was looking for a partner. Well, we're waiting now for Kevin Sullivan and Michael Hayes to appear in the ring. Super Destroyer is there, and as you can see, Buzz Sawyer also on hand. We're waiting now for Michael Hayes and Kevin Sullivan to appear. This match, of course, was signed. Well, Michael Hayes is approaching the desk.
Gordon, Kevin Sullivan still hasn't showed up. I don't know where he's at. I can't explain why he hasn't showed up.
I care about you explaining. You get right in this ring right now. You go get on somebody.
Look, I'll take either one of these guys on by myself, but man, I don't have...
Come on. You'll have to fight us both
Gordon,
yourself. Come on.
Sullivan didn't... All right, can you send me a couple guys out here maybe to choose from as partners? You just wait a second.
Come on. Come on, sissy. Come on. So bad. You take both of us on. Come on.
Well, wait a second here. Michael, you can't take them both on, that's for sure. I don't know if you can find somebody who will...
All right, you want me to get a partner? You want me to get a partner?
Hey, come on.
All right, Michael Hayes is left to try and find somebody to take the place of Kevin Sullivan. So there you see Buzz Sawyer and... Wait a minute! That was Terry Gordy! That was Terry Gordy who just charged the ring with Michael Hayes. And the Freebirds are back in action. Fantasia has struck a bolt of lightning here as Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy and brother, look at that teamwork. Look at that teamwork. Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. Look at this. Wow. Buzz Sawyer hurtled from the ring. The Super Destroyer leaves. And they have beat a hasty retreat indeed. But we've got Freebird Fantasia. And, well, this now really... This is certainly going to require a great deal of explanation. I was going to interview Terry Gordy, but I guess I'd better interview both of these men right now.
Gordon, this has got to be the happiest moment in my life. No, people don't know it, but this man 6 weeks ago saved me, and he offered his hand in friendship, and I was too proud to shake his hand and admit we had made a mistake a long time ago. I'm not too proud now, brother.
Hey, brother, I knew when you come up and said, Terry, I knew what you want. I know. There's no doubt about it, baby. The birds, the Freebirds are back together. If you didn't hear it, I'll say it again. The Freebirds are back together.
You know, Gordon, I was going to show a film earlier today to explain and show just what he did for me, because I wanted to come out publicly and tell the whole country, tell everybody here that I wanted him back as a partner. But when I was confronted with the situation, I still don't know what happened to Kevin. But I was thinking, what can I do? I knew they was going to beat me up if I went in by myself, and it hit me, baby. When I went to ask you, I didn't know if you was going to punch me or not. But, brother, I guarantee you this in front of everybody out there. We are back together to stay.
You said that right, brother. It's like this, Gordon. At one time, we was the national tag team champions, and the only reason that we're not the national tag team champions today is because of ourselves. It's not because of nobody else. Now, I know a lot of people stood out here and bragged and boast about how they've been this champion and that champion. Well, let me tell you something. There's not a horse that can't be rode, and there's not a man that can't be thrown.
Whoa!
If you ever run across a man that don't think that he can be thrown, bring him to us.
Can we roll the film? I want everybody to watch this film.
Well, yeah, let's explain this a little bit, though. There was a problem, and it was this man, indeed.
Yeah, it was me against Terry. It was the final match, the Fantasia Gamble. And if you just roll the film, it's self-explanatory.
Fair enough. Let's take a look.
As you see, we're both down, and there comes the sheep herders in. They're there, and then the guy come in, he pulled out a pair of scissors. He want to cut my hair. I'm knocked unconscious. I ain't got no idea what's going on.
Gordon, you know, this is right here. This is no sport. You don't see this happen in football, baseball, or anything else. You know, I don't mind taking a man right in the middle of that ring and humiliating him like they're supposed to be humiliated, because that's the way I know to do my job. But the thing about it is, Gordon, there's no sense of somebody trying to embarrass and humiliate somebody like these guys did right here. There's just no sense in it.
Strenuously argued. Gordon, this time, as you can see, I had no idea what was going on. I was at their mercy. And this is where Terry, when I saw this film, I couldn't believe it. This is when he showed he still had feelings for me. And I'll tell you, it was the proudest moment.
Well, of course, you two have been...
Now, you look at that. He has gone wild on 3 men. That's a nice... Those are tag team champions. There's Joe LeDuc, a strong man. And look at that. Head up, baby. Boogie.
That's what it's all about right there, man. When it comes down to something like that, I know how to boogie. I know how to get down, and I know how to get nasty. I can get nasty with the nasties. You know what I'm saying, Gordon? That's how I know how to do business, is get in there and treat somebody like they would want to treat me.
Well, you're giving us certainly a classic example of that right now. And, of course, when you did see this, Michael, you began to realize that old friendship, because you two were as brothers.
Yes, we were. You know, and it's took a very big strain on our family. But it's over with now, and I just want to make this clear to everybody out there, Jack. From now on, Roddy Piper and the rest of them, they're talking about gang wars. Daddy, the gang is back together. And if you want a gang war, we were brought up fighting gang wars, Jack. And we ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep walking and talking right over everybody back to the top where the Freebirds belong 1 year ago today.
Brother, you know, Gordon, he couldn't have said it no better. Just like Mike said, we was brought up on the poor side of town, Daddy. That's where we come from. That's how we know how to act.
They love Tommy Rich.
Yes, sir. You know, Gordon, you got fans everywhere, and it's just summer getting here. All the people, boy, everybody's full of energy, you know. But the thing about it is, Roddy Piper thought he's going to get rid of Tommy Rich. But just like I told you, Piper, country boy can survive and always will survive. But the thing is, I think Piper's true colors finally coming out. I'm going to start calling him Old Yeller, Gordon, you know, because he's gone out and got this Dr. X. bounty hunter, whatever he wants to call him. He's paying him money. But the thing, you know, Piper run into a little problem. He thought that he could take this bounty hunter or Dr. X or ever who he is and let him wrestle in his place. But the NWA told him anywhere his name appears on the same piece of paper, mine or Dusty Rhodes, either one's on, that he's got to be there. And, you know, that tickles the daylights out of me. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I got 10 pounds of cash right here that I just can't wait to whomp him upside his head a couple of times with.
Well, I think everybody can certainly empathize with that comment and the feelings of Tommy Wildfire Rich, and hopefully we'll be talking a little further to Tommy later on in the program. As you can see, Roddy Piper and Dr. X have joined me.
A country boy can survive. You see, all my life, I have done exactly what I wanted to do. Mainly because I'm tough enough to do exactly what I want to do. You see, I got a man right here. I got a man that is so dangerous. I got $5,000 on Dusty Rhodes' head. I came here, I put down a couple of grand just for fine, just because I wanted to. I got Tommy Rich coming out here talking all kinds of stuff. Well, let me tell you something. If I don't want to wrestle, I ain't gonna wrestle no place. And I decide I ain't gonna wrestle. You see, Tommy Rich, all this time you've been trying to grow up to become a wrestler. You should have been trying to grow up to become a man, Tommy Rich. I, like myself, I am a man. I do what I want to. For instance, today, right here, Mr. Dr. X is gonna do my wrestling for me, because if I don't want to wrestle, I don't wrestle. Come with me, young man.
Indeed. All right, so Dr. X going to the ring, and he'll be facing Tuffarello. Could be an interesting match indeed. There you see Roddy Piper in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Dr. X moving out against Tuffarello. One fall, a 10-minute time limit. Dr. X very quickly driving knees to the midsection of Tuffarello. Very quickly drives him to the mat. Catches him once again. One thing about this Dr. X, one cannot deny the tremendous physique of the man. He obviously has great wrestling capabilities down across the chest.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that magnificent? We're talking thousands of dollars now. Talking $5,000, Dusty Rhodes. I'm talking about Donnie Osmond and wrestling Tommy Rich. Talking $5,000 on his head. This man's going to take my place in every arena. Look at this.
Well, as you can hear, Roddy Piper very, very pleased with his man, Dr. X. And Mr. Piper, I would assume at this point in time, seems to feel very confident about the fact that Dr. X will do his bid and call.
I'm going to start throwing $100 bills at you now. Come on. Get up, Dusty.
After he's in the shape. After he's lost all the weight.
That's right, after he lost all the weight. Get him,
Tuffarello in a lot of trouble now as Dr. X continues to systematically decimate the man. Russian leg sweep. Well executed. Did not allow the pin. And Mr. Piper with the attitude that money will do everything.
Put 100 in your trunk. Here, put 100 in your trunk. Have 100. Eat. There you go.
And passing money to Dr. X.
Where's the camera?
Fresh meat.
Where's the camera?
Count of three, and a merciful end, if you will, for Dr. X. Absolutely destroyed his man.
You see, all the time, what I'm talking about is whatever I want to do, I do. I'm talking about hundreds. Oh, what, you looking for another broken leg?
Jerry Briscoe.
Let me tell you something, Rodney Piper. Let me tell you something. You just hush your mouth a second. You let me tell you something.
Don't you tell me
You just be quiet a minute. As a representative of the National Wrestling Alliance, as Vice President of Georgia Championship Wrestling, Piper, you have been walking on grounds that you shouldn't be on. Anywhere that your name is signed to wrestle, I don't care if it's against Tommy Rich, Dusty Rhodes, or who, you, Rodney Piper, made the mistake of putting your name on a dotted line. You cannot, you just be quiet a second there, young man. You cannot take your coat off, take anything you want off, but I guarantee you one thing, Piper. The people, the National Wrestling Alliance, Georgia Championship Wrestling has made a statement that money doesn't do anything. You, Piper, where your name is on contract, you will be doing the wrestling, not any of your animals like Dr. Rex. And that's it, Mr. Silver. Thank you very much.
In other words, any place that his name appears on a contract, he must wrestle.
Rodney Piper has been overstepping his boundaries since he's been in the state of Georgia. I guarantee anywhere in the United States that he signs a contract to participate in wrestling, in a wrestling match, Rodney Piper will be forced in the ring against whoever the contract states. And Piper, no more hiding in the corners. Now you've got to come out and you've got to be face-to-face in the ring with the opponent that you signed with.
Dave Sawyer has joined me.
That's right. You know, I want to know where Kevin Sullivan is. Well, I'm going to tell you people where he's at. He's at home resting up because Buzz Sawyer got the power slam and slammed him right on the floor. And Michael Hayes, you better go find yourself another partner or something because I don't think Kevin Sullivan's going to be here. He's home milking his back, fixing it with something. You better go get the Armstrongs, Tommy Rich, whoever it is, because rock and roll's over, the Fantasian's over, Buzz Sawyer and Super D is going to rip your booty.
Champion. Let's take a moment here to talk to Bob Armstrong.
I listen to Big John Studd talking. You know, Gordon, it's easy to stand out here and say, I am this, I am that. I can say I'm the king of 10 buck too, but that don't make it so. You got to prove it in the ring. You can't just proclaim yourself as being the toughest or the brass knuckles champion. I don't care how big. As far as Mr. Piper's concerned, trying to substitute his contracts, trying to put somebody else in to wrestle for him, that's not going to work. Jerry Briscoe signed a match, you will wrestle in that match. And it just so happens it's a certificate of recognition. It's from the fan. It's to certify that Mr. Roddy Piper has amazingly displayed all the qualifications due him, and we'd like to award this as Jackass of the Month to Mr. And I'd like for you to present this to him.
Yeah, well, J.A. of the Month, huh? We'll be back. Obviously, he's here to scout Buzz Sawyer, the national heavyweight champion.
Well, you know something, Gordon, ever since I came into the Georgia area, Buzz Sawyer, for some reason, has been throwing words to me, been saying stuff about me and everything else that he knows nothing about me. Now, I don't know what his problem is, getting out here hollering and screaming about me. But I'll tell you one thing, you know, he goes out here and he's saying there's nobody to wrestle him, there's not enough competition around here. I want you to know, Gordon, I want everybody else out there to know, I want Georgia Championship Wrestling to know that I'll sign my name to a contract any day of the week to step in that ring with that man right there. You know.
Hang in with me, Paul, and let's go to the ring, and let's take a look at the national heavyweight champion Buzz Sawyer in action. He's going up against Randy Barber. It's one fall, 10-minute time limit, and Sawyer in the black trunks, moving out very swiftly against Barber. And I would say that the presence of Paul Orndorff here at the podium with me has given some added impetus to Mr. Sawyer's attack on this man.
Let me say one thing, Gordon. That was uncalled for. The man was a national AAU amateur champion. He was the best there is. And I'm not taking nothing from the man. He wouldn't be wearing that belt right now if he's not the best. He does not need to resort to do the things like that. There's no need in that because the man has got so much talent that it's unbelievable. He does not need to resort to the stuff that he does. It's not professional as far as I'm concerned.
Very interesting comment from Paul Orndorff, who obviously, as I've said before about Orndorff, he does his homework. He knows his opponents. He knows, he studies the men that are in this profession, and realizing, of course, that if you're in any professional sport, you'd better know the rules and regulations, and you'd better know your opponents. And Sawyer is, I suppose, because it is basically the sport is somewhat narcissistic, that he is a pretty good heavy ego case.
He sure is, and he goes beyond the sport. He goes beyond what he has to do to beat people. He tries to hurt him. You can see he's just playing. He's just toying with this kid right now. He's just playing with it because I'm sure he could beat him anytime he wanted to. But you know something else, Gordon? Like I said a little bit earlier, people right here and they run their mouth. They're going to do this and do that. I've never been that way. There's only one way to settle something, and that's right in the middle of that ring. That's the way they used to do it 50 years ago. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the way it still does with me.
Interesting comment from Paul Orndorff, a man that I respect greatly, having watched his career, high school, college, and into the pro ranks. Look at the way this man...
that leg, and he's got his front face locked. See there, that's a lot of amateur there. And see, he's just playing with this guy right now. But I can tell you one thing. It's going to be very interesting when we step in that ring, because I'm not going to up there and say that I can beat the man. I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be tough. And at the end of that match, we're going to find out who the better man is.
Well, it certainly sounds to me like we have the makings of a challenge upcoming here, and it'd be interesting to see how Mr. Sawyer responds to all of this. As Paul Orndorff said, Sawyer was a national AAU champion, went into the finals. And Paul is, I would say, too, an extremely modest man, because you'll notice he has spent more time talking about the talent and capabilities of...
That's on that. Let me tell you something about Georgia Championship Wrestling. For some things, it's good and it's bad. But I've been watching Buzz Sawyer, like you said. I study my opponents. I know every move that man makes. I know what he's going to do. It's just like playing football. Every football team has a game plan. I do the same. Buzz Sawyer has a game plan. Otherwise, he would not be wearing that belt right now. He's the best there is right now in this area. But I'm going to give him a run for his money.
Partial side chancery now by Sawyer. Then very quickly scissors on him, and now punishing the head and the neck. And again, I can't help but feel that Sawyer likes to make an example out of everybody that he competes against. I think he wants that to serve as psychological warfare against future opponents.
That's very true. You know, he's putting on this little exhibition right here, rubbing the man's face in the mat. But believe me, he's doing that half on me. He thinks that is intimidating me. But believe me, in my first few years of this business, I had my face rubbed in that mat a few times, and I don't mind telling you, but I haven't had it done since.
Well, I can attest to the fact that you just don't rub Paul Orndorff's face in the mat. You'd have to be quite a man indeed. Buzz Sawyer continuing to punish Randy Barber now. Barber in the blue trunks has taken a tremendous amount of punishment. High vertical suplex, well executed by Sawyer.
I got to hand it to him. He knows some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moves. And why does he resort to the tactic that he does sometimes is beyond me. Like right there, he had the man beaten and he pulled him up. All he is doing is making him look like an idiot.
High double thrust with the feet into the face of Randy Barber, and he just continues a merciless bit of punishment, and again, utilizing his legs.
It's uncalled for as far as I'm concerned. It's uncalled for.
Barber in a lot of trouble now as Buzz Sawyer continues his punishing ways on Barber. And, of course, we've heard, I think, some strenuous objections to the actions and attitudes of Buzz Sawyer by Paul Orndorff.
Me, the outpatient. He's the outpatient. I'll tell you what, but sooner or later, Gordon, he's going to have to face his outpatient right in the middle of that ring. If he wants to call me that, that's fine and dandy. I don't care. Anybody can call me anything they want to.
Beautiful power slam executed again by Buzz Sawyer, and the man was out, the referee, using his own judgment there in tolling the count. And certainly a good move on the part of the referee, because Mr. Sawyer had him obviously in a totally helpless condition.
You want to come out here behind my back, huh? You think you're a big man? You're just like Kevin Sullivan, a coward, buddy. Because there's no man that can kick out that power slam, Jack. And you're one of them, Mr. So-called beauty.
Let me tell you something. Just knowing you, the talented person you are, you probably have something to do with Sullivan. I don't know that. But I can assure you of one thing, my man. You be here next week.
Hey.
I'll be here. And if you want to wrestle in that ring, that's fine and dandy with me.
Let me tell you something. Tuck your shirt tail, buddy. Because you're going to be just like Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan got out here on national TV staring at everybody. I'm going to be there. Well, brother, you be here next week. And me and you gonna get it on, Jack. We gonna get it on, so you be here. I don't want no excuses.
All right, that's it. Paul Orndorff Elvis said he'll be here. Buzz Sawyer says he'll be here. The match is made for next week here on Georgia Championship Wrestling. Here's an important word. Let's listen to this right now. Some of the most beautiful robes in professional wrestling. He and, of course, the world heavyweight champion Ric Flair. Dusty Rhodes, another one, but it's wrestling, too. Against, oh, beautiful. Quick pass.
I'm going to tell you something. I've seen this wrestling, too, sticking his nose back in this area. I told him, I told you, and I told everybody. I don't want him back here, and I'm going to do something about it.
Oh, wait a minute. That was a superstar, and it's a superstar charging the ring. And the superstar caught wrestling, too, with a Sunday. The referee calling for the bell. The referee hurtled to one side, and the superstar catches wrestling, too, with a lariat. And now the superstar on him again. He caught. It was a Pearl Harbor if I've ever seen one. The referee, Nick Patrick, trying to restore order. Jones charging into the ring now. Scrappy McGowan coming in there. Nick Patrick. There's Brad Armstrong, and it is the superstar beating a hasty retreat. But he's got wrestling, too, and how badly he caught him, I don't know. But there's a lot of people around him now, and the superstar, in an emotional tirade, suddenly...
Just a little sample of what's going to happen to him. He better pack his bags and get out of here.
Well, I'll tell you something. This is certainly not...
Who said money doesn't talk, huh? Wasn't that a beautiful thing? Wasn't that a beautiful thing? What happened to Mr. Wrestling, right? You're talking about Dr. X here. You're talking about Dusty Rhodes and $5,000. You're talking about Tommy Rich and $5,000. You're talking about all kinds of exciting things. You're talking about people dropping like flies around the no-bad strip, man. You're talking money, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you see this beautiful specimen of human machine. Go ahead and enter the ring and take the place of that lowly character that is walking out now. You see what they say? You got to pay the piper, but you idiot, I am the piper, and that is the man right there.
Well, we're in a bit of a quandary here, and if there is a suitable opponent for Dr. X, I certainly see nothing wrong with that at this point, and it is Roddy Piper continuing his conversation. And Mike Jackson has moved into the ring, and if ever there was a fine competitor, it is Mike Jackson. And Jackson, being very alert, ducks away from Dr. X. Ducks away again. Jackson, he's another extremely well-educated competitor, has his master's degree. Side headlock by Jackson. And Dr. X tried to fire him off. Jackson hung on like a pit bull, and so Dr. X has got his problems. Dr. X has his problems now as Mike Jackson. Wow. And it is still Jackson. Jackson is right now certainly leading the attack on Dr. X. And it was a very frustrated look on Roddy Piper's face when he looked back at me. And, there, well, diversionary tactic. Jackson once again with a side headlock. Leapfrog by Dr. X and caught Jackson squarely in the back coming down. Caught him again. And it is Dr. X. Caught Jackson in the throat that time. Well, you can hear Roddy Piper taking a microphone with him, and
the best part about it is nobody knows what he looks like. Rich don't know what he looks like. Rhodes don't know what he looks like. Or he could be standing right beside you. He could be getting his hair cut next to you. Or died in Rich's case, huh? Died. Rich. Get out!
And it is Jackson caught in an inverted form of the pile driver, driven to the canvas, and it is all over. And so Dr. X taking on a very game, very determined, and rugged Mike Jackson, and Dr. X turning the tide of battle in that particular point. And
he sunk the ship, man.
Yeah, Roddy Powell.
Tell you something, mister. I'll tell you something. You're not out of